Hey there, this is Lauren Kimball for ANI 245, and in this brief tutorial I'm going to show you how to export a Playblast through Maya as either a video file or an image sequence. Now, most of you who are in my class are going to be turning in video Playblasts. However, you may want to know how to do an image sequence, just in case you want to bring the video file into, say, Toon Boom and do a 2D animation, like overlaid on a different layer. Or if you're having issues with your export codec, maybe an image sequence would be a good solution so that you could bring it into a program like Premiere Pro or After Effects and export your file that way. So it's always good to know how to create an image sequence. All right, to get started, I want you to go ahead and choose a good camera aspect ratio for your file. To do that, go to the top of your screen, see the blue sphere? That represents your hypershade. To the left of that is a little clapboard with a gear. That's the button I want you to pick. That is your render settings tab. Now, we're not actually going to render, we're just creating a Playblast. A Playblast is just what you see is what you get as far as OpenGL. A render would calculate lighting and shadows and ray tracing, and we're not doing any of that. However, within the render settings, under the Common tab, you can scroll down and find the image size portion of the tab. So this is helpful because even though we're not rendering, your Playblast is still going to follow this preset. So right now it's set to HD 540. I'd like you to just bump that up to HD 720. So that's going to be just a little bit bigger. The HD aspect ratios are all going to be 16:9, which is great. That's standard. 720 is just going to give us a little bit of a bigger file. All right, then I'm going to press close. Next, I want to set up my camera. Ideally, you've created a new camera for your scene. Just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and use my perspective cam. And I'm going to go under View, and I'm going to go under Camera Settings, and I'm going to click on Resolution Gate. Now, the resolution gate is going to show us exactly what the file is going to look like, or exactly what the camera sees when you export the Playblast. So I'm just going to frame my shot, make sure that whatever I frame doesn't cut out of frame. Bring this down a little lower. There we go. Choose a good angle, and we're done. When you're finished with this, you could either bookmark your camera. If you created a new camera, you could go View, Select Camera, grab all of the channels, right-click, and lock them if you don't want to accidentally move. Obviously, not ideal with the perspective cam, but just showing you how you can lock your camera if you want to. And then I want you to go to View, Camera Settings, and turn off the resolution gate because you don't want to kick the resolution gate out with your render. Go ahead before you Playblast, I mean not render, Playblast. Before you Playblast. Sorry, slip of the tongue. So before you Playblast, make sure that you have all your controllers hidden. By default, usually your NURBS curves are showing. You can hold down Alt-1 to hide that. If there are other things showing, like, oh, I don't know. Maybe you have joints. I know that with SimpleBot, sometimes the joints are showing. You could go to Show, None, and then press Alt-1 to bring back the curbs, Alt-2 to bring back your mesh. Since we're Playblasting, turn off those curbs. All right, now for the Playblast. To get to the Playblast settings, just go to your timeline, right-click, see where it says Playblast? Go to the box to the right of that. All right, in your Playblast settings, I want you to go under Show Ornaments and turn that off. That way you don't have like your grid or your XYZ or your view cube showing up in your Playblast. Next, Format. You only have two options here on the PC. If you're working a Mac, the other option might be an MOV, but AVI works fine. Encoding, I'm just not going to encode, but if you want to compress your file, you could choose one of these, or you could go online. Xvid has an outstanding codec. Highly recommend this. You can download it for free, and you could use that to encode this as H.264, but this is a small enough file, I don't really need it to be encoded. Quality, I want it to be 100. Display size, I want this to match my render settings that I set previously. Scale, I want to move this all the way to 1 because I want 100% of my 720 by 1280 resolution. I don't want it to be half of that, so make sure you pump that all the way to 1. Frame padding doesn't matter for this particular export because we're going to export a video. Let's go save to file. I'm going to go ahead and name this last name underscore ANI 245 underscore jump. And I'm going to click Playblast. And there's my little jump. All right, so let's say that you want to export an image sequence instead. So I'm going to right click, grab Playblast window again, only this time instead of AVI, I want to choose the image format. Under encoding, I'm going to choose PNG because PNG is a lossless format. Render settings, still the same. Scale, fine. Frame padding is how many zeros are going to follow whatever naming convention you have. In this case, it's 4, which is a little overkill for a 30-frame animation. Maybe do 3 instead. That way, each frame will be 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 0, 30, etc., etc. Save to file. Now, before you save to file, I recommend going to Browse. It's going to take you to your Images folder and create a new folder, Image Sequence, and make sure to save inside this folder because otherwise your entire Images folder is going to be populated by whatever sequence you export. I'm going to go ahead and name this Kimball underscore ANI 245 underscore jump. And I'm not sure why this reset itself, but let's go ahead and choose PNG again, save, and Playblast. This time when you Playblast, instead of open Windows Media Player or QuickTime, it's going to open an Fcheck. Fcheck is a software that's entirely with Autodesk. It comes with Maya, and the whole point of this is to be able to see what an image sequence will look like played at real time, so 24 frames per second. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. I don't need it for anything. It's just a preview, a way to see your image sequence. Now, if I go into my project folder and I go under images, there's my image sequence folder that I created. And as you can see, it's been populated by my little robot jumping. Now, I don't have a Toon Boom license on this particular computer. I should, but it's not working properly. But what you would do to bring this into Toon Boom is you would go File, Import Image, and then instead of clicking a single image, like when we brought in a background image in ANI 125, you would just hide all of these. And because they're all numbered, Toon Boom will automatically import them at the right frame rate, in the right order. And you don't have to change anything because we are exporting at 24 frames per second, and as long as you set up your project file correctly in Harmony, it'll already be set to import at 24 frames per second, and then you'll be able to animate over the sequence. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any other questions, just send me an email.